aluminum siding on the house and make it all pretty.
Yeah, right. Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Arthur Williams, and I'm the host of MLM Talk Live. And thank you for being here. This is a show where our agenda is introducing you to other people in this exciting industry of multi-level marketing, direct sales, network marketing. Has different names, of course, but it's all about entrepreneurship and free enterprise. And we like to think that we are one of the purest forms of that in America. Of course, if you were in Latin America, you learn that they sort of take offense when we up in the United States of America, when we act like we're the only America, because we're not. Actually, they're the South and Central America too. But on the show with me today, I have a gentleman that I met here on Blab, and I right away knew something about the company he's with, because he's with a very unique company. You know, in the history of network marketing, there was a guy named Art Williams that took an industry that nobody ever would have thought would be actually dominated by what you and I would call a network marketing or a multi-level company. He started the A.L. Williams company that later became Primerica, and it's a major force, you know, in the financial services industry right now. And not too long after he started that company, then we have the company that the gentleman that's with us tonight, Rob Rudy, works for or with. And they, in many ways, are very similar in that they have revolutionized an industry. So by saying that, I'd just like to introduce everybody to Rob. And I will mention, we're going to let Rob talk a little bit first for the first maybe 20, 25, 30 minutes. And then after that, we'll open it up to any guests. And you certainly are welcome to come on board then. But if you have any questions, go ahead and put it over there in the chat box on the right. And Rob and I will try to keep our eye on it, and if we see any questions come up that should be answered at that time, we certainly will do it. And also remember that after the show is over, just get in touch with me, or I don't know if Rob can do it or not. Rob, do you get a copy of an archived copy of the shows? Do you know if you're a guest?
I think so. It's I was subscribed, so I probably will. But if not, yeah.
Okay.
If you can,
well, if not, I will. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go. So, Rob, go ahead and just introduce yourself, please, sir.
Yeah, my name is Rob Rudy. I'm a network marketing strategist out of Pittsburg, Pennsylvania, and I basically work for a network marketing company, but I also help people I coach people that are in there in the network marketing arena, and I teach them how to basically do it right. Like, so many times as people have been approached by network marketers, it's been the kind of jam it down your throat kind of thing, and so I kind of help them identify the wrong way of doing it and show them how to do it the right way, and, going from there. So I help them overcome their struggles and challenges so that they can build a reputable business, that they can build a strong, duplicatable business as well. So
how did you get into network marketing, or how did network marketing get into you?
Believe it or not. Yeah, I've always been entrepreneurial minded. Back in the day, I had my own paper route from the beginning, and I did all that stuff. And I've always had little businesses that I've kind of had as I was growing up. And I actually worked for Primerica for a while. I sold Kirby vacuums. I've done pretty much everything. Market America. I've done all kinds of network marketing opportunities. And so, that it was just kind of tough because, you want to be a boss in all the different, industries, but you really have to kind of, take your, you got to come up in the rankings. You can't just come in and just think you know everything about it. You got to learn. And so, for me, that's what the big thing was, is going back through there and just, learning network marketing and learning the relationship. And it's not about sales and trying to push it. It's identifying a need with people and then kind of, adjusting your approach based on, what it is that they need. So
it's really kind of hard for somebody even if you had somebody upline who wanted to give you a position. You and I both know, of course, you're more active in the industry than I am right now, but really nobody can give you a position if you're not ready. You really having the title in any network marketing company is not really going to be worth very much money to you, is it?
No, and I think a lot of people think that they get into network marketing and they think of it as like a lottery ticket. Like, I'm going to get in and it's just going to fall in my lap, and somebody's going to come along and make $1 million, and they're going to be in my downline. So I'm just going to make, all that money from not having to do anything. So I think people really get in the mindset of, I don't have to work hard to get there. They see people that in my industry, or not in my industry, but in my business and the actual, the company I'm with, the top earner makes $750,000 a month. So it's doable. It's only a 9-year-old company, so it's doable. But do you want to work for it? I mean, he just didn't up and just, get in the business and start talking to his friends and family, and then it just took off. I mean, he was, busting his tail over and over and over again. And then, then he was developing leaders and he was doing that. So it wasn't just something where you hopefully get and talk to the right person and then they take off. You really have to put in work. You have to be dedicated and, you do the things that other people don't want to do. And that's how you stand out. You can pass up your sponsors. You can do all the other stuff, because if you work hard at your 9 to 5, you're not going to get paid anymore. You're just going to get more work. So, when you're out there and you're leveraging your time and you're working your business, you're doing it because it's your business too. So there's more of a passion. So when you're out there working your business, you're more successful because you have more stake in it, and you have the opportunity to go I always like when people say unlimited income potential, right? There's a couple things there, right? Unlimited means as much as you want. Unlimited doesn't mean like millions and millions of dollars. Some people, if you had $2,500 extra dollars a month, that would make a difference. Okay. So unlimited in that sense, you can put in as little time as you want or as much time as you want. Potential just means that you haven't done it yet. So unlimited income potential. So it's out there to make as much as you want, but you have to go and actually do it. So, a lot of times people aren't willing to put in the work to do that. So what they'll do is, they're just out there and they're just like, I'm going to quit because I'm hungry for tacos. And then they'll give up. You got to actually just get to work and not let anything phase you,
You've been in the business now for how many years? 9 or 14 years? What'd you say?
It's been, I can't even remember. I mean, yeah, it's been pretty much, all of my adult life. So yeah, it's been probably 15, 20 years at least. So
yeah. I have 2 questions I want to ask you. First of all, in your experience, and it's a big world, and we all take up as much room as we can in it and get as much experience, but what's your perspective on the changes that you've seen in the industry? And then also, you really do work for a really unique company. I mean, aside from the fact that they have some pretty cool blazers.
And they just got some new ones, yeah.
Really, yeah. What are some of the things about the environment, specifically I'm thinking of utilities, that you work in that appeal to you and appeal to other people?
Yeah, what I like specifically about my business is, what I do is I don't have to sell anything. I'm not going back and I help people save on their gas and electric stuff that people habitually use and unconsciously pay for. Nobody's, saying, oh, I'm not going to pay my gas and electric this month, but I'm going to pay my cable bill or whatever, because you won't have that without your gas and electric. So when I saw the opportunity, for me, it was like, I don't have any, of the 3 nasty things when you have a business: no collections, no inventory, and you don't have to have, any, collections, inventory, and you're not out there actually changing people's way of purchasing it. So there's no, no change to how they purchase, how they pay for anything that they're currently doing. So you're not interrupting that buying pattern. So for me, it was like, that's awesome. And so I didn't have to teach people. A lot of times I see people struggling, when I'm coaching people, they struggle with overcoming having to know about all the products and the ingredients. And so sometimes that catches some people up. They're really excited and they use the products and they're getting great success. And there's a lot of great companies out there that do that. But then when they're approached by somebody and says, well, I saw that, this, has this ingredient in it, and I heard on the news that such and such. And so they don't know what to do. So that's what kind of makes this take off even faster, is you don't have that learning curve of learning all the products. And sometimes there's many, many different lines of products and you're getting into that. And so, you come across as not knowing everything. And if you're hesitant, then people kind of, they don't believe you on the rest of the stuff, which you're knowledgeable in. So that's, I think, the major difference between a service-based, network marketing company product based.
Does that kind of customer experience have any effect, positive or negative? Although I would imagine it would be positive, on your likelihood of getting referrals?
Yeah, actually. And the other thing that helps us get referrals is we have a free energy program. So when I go out and talk to somebody and I show them, I always show everybody the opportunity first, because you never know. We've had people that one of the ladies in my business, she was showing the opportunity to an elderly lady, and she was just showing it to her as, hey, you can save money. And so she went and signed up as a customer and said, okay, how do I make money on this thing? And the consultant was just like, what do you mean? She goes, well, it says that you can make money and stuff. So how to make money? And she's like, I didn't even think you would want to do that, So I think when a lot of people, struggle and don't do well in the business is because they pre-qualify and they say, well, that person's too old. That person has too much money. That person doesn't have enough money, so they can't get in. So what happens is they limit their business and they shut down their business before it even gets started. So I always show everybody the opportunity when I'm out there. And so when they see the opportunity, and then they say, no, I'm not really interested, but wow, I want to save some money. And I say, great. So, we get them signed up as a customer, and I say, now, when you saw that opportunity, you saw in there that it had free energy, right? And they're like, yeah. I said, well, I want to help you get free energy. So when you were watching that, who's the first person you thought of that would want to save or that can use some extra money off of their bill? Oh, my next door neighbor, Tom. Awesome. Okay, let's get Tom's information. Now, who else? Because we only have to have 15. So give me some other names. And then you can keep doing the same, as Eric Worre talks about, the doorway kind of thing. Every new person that you bring into the business or you show the business to, you ask them for a referral, and that opens a new door of all the people that they know. So you never really run out of prospects. And people say, well, I don't know enough people. I only have this. I mean, you don't have to know a ton of people. You just have to know how to ask for a referral. So what I do is I do that after the video, and they get in and they see it. If they become a consultant, obviously we go down that route with, who do you know? And then we start making their list. But if they're not interested, I ask them those two questions and said, who do you know that would want to save money? And what you're doing is now you're getting like the top of their list. You're not getting their whole list with all the people that may or may not. You're getting people that, that's who they first thought of. So, and that's why I always say, who's the first person you thought of? I don't say, did you think of anybody? I just say, who was the first person? You have to have somebody. When you're watching this video, you saw somebody in your mind that you knew that does this. Oh, yeah. Susie, she sells energy drinks and everything. And she would, she'd be great at this. So, great. And sometimes I'll say something like, yeah, let me get Susie's information. I'll give her a call. If she gets in the business and gets her bonus, I'll give you $25 or I'll give you $50 or, whatever the incentive is. So you're basically getting a referral. But again, the referral that you're getting is higher than just, somebody's personal list of people that are on there. This is like the top person they thought of.
Well, I had a specific point though. Would you say that with the tangibility of the savings that you presumably can show people, that makes it any easier for you to get a referral than somebody who just sold the typical other kind of product that we, like a potion or a lotion or a pill? I mean, I would think in some cases that would make it easier to get a referral.
Yes and no. I mean, it's just with anything else. I mean, it's all in you. Like, I mean, if people don't believe in you or trust in you, I have friends for life that won't be my customer because they're just skeptical. They've been burnt before, or they just have this stigma that, and they're just afraid to change. So, I don't hold it against them. I don't try to, convince them or whatever, but they do ask me, how's that energy thing going, or how's that going? And so they're still asking about it. So they're not like off my list, but I'm not going to force it down their throat. I tell people I'm not going to lose a relationship over a kilowatt, so it's not that important to me. But yeah, I mean, you would think it would make it better, but it really just depends on the person. We guarantee in Pennsylvania, we guarantee at least 3% savings. So there's absolutely no way they can lose money. So what they do is they average their bill. And if they don't save 3% over the course of a year, they'll actually cut them a check and include it in their statement. But people still don't want to do it because they're just afraid. It's almost like it's too good to be true kind of thing. So, So, yeah, I mean, your question, you would think it'd be pretty straightforward. Like, yes, it makes it absolutely easier, but it really just depends on the person. And, if they're open to do something like that, because it's not necessarily the savings. It's
what's the average bill in Pennsylvania, if I may ask? Maybe
it just
statewide. I mean, with all the companies.
Oh, you mean how much? Yeah, I'm not even sure what the average bill is because it all depends on usage. It depends on the time of year, and how big of the house. So, it all just varies. But, people can, save a good bit of money, on their bill. And the 3% is just what we guarantee. So even though we guarantee 3%, it's typically between like 7 and 18% in that area. But, it's the kind of legal thing, like to cover their tails. They're like, okay, well, we're just going to do 3% guarantee, but it's typically a lot higher.
Well, the reason I asked, though, of course, I'm wondering, I'm in Barranquilla, Colombia, and I left the U.S. in 2007 to go to South Korea to teach English. But even before I left the States, I lived in Houston, and my bill typically was was around $100 a month, and that was just for a one-bedroom apartment. So I know there've been some price increases. Would it be safe to say that the average person's, even for an apartment bill in Pennsylvania, would they be paying $100 a month for their utilities?
Oh yeah, easily. And then it depends, like if they get on a budget or something else. You have the gas, because we have gas and electric up here in Pennsylvania. So that's the other advantage that people have up in this area is in some markets we just have electricity, some we just have gas. We're moving into solar, which is exciting. That
I think I saw that.
Yeah, at the end of this month here, just next week, we're going to be actually out doing solar, and so that's another thing. We're not just sticking with gas and electric. It may eventually phase out. I mean, I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, but it's exciting to know that the company is moving in the direction of, hey, let's kind of be on the forefront of this movement into solar. So.
Yeah. I'm just curious. Has there been any controversy? I know in the telephone business that there was. Are you familiar with the term called slamming?
Yep.
Yeah. Has that ever happened in your industry? I think there's one or two other people that are doing something similar, right? They're in the deregulated energy.
Yeah, there's a couple different ones. I think you're going to get that with everything, but ours, we actually have a third-party verification that we do, so you really can't get slammed. I mean, if you have your account, then once you switch, you have to call in, you speak with somebody, and they say, are you so-and-so? Is this your address? Did you agree to switch? And you kind of go through the recorded process there of having the third party. But, we're A+ rated on the Better Business Bureau. I know some other companies that were in business and did this would go door to door. Like, I don't even think we're allowed to go door to door, but I don't go door to door. Because I don't need to have a ton of customers. All I have to really have is like 20 customers in the lifetime of my business. And then you get, your other consultants to kind of do the same thing. And you can do pretty well just by doing that. So I keep about 30 some customers, because 15 for my free gas, 15 for my free electric, and then a couple in case people move or get out of the area where we're not serving. So that's pretty much what I do. But yeah, if I had to get customers every day in this business, I wouldn't be doing it.
So are you saying that a person's, in a manner of speaking, that a person's short-term goals would be maybe would seem a little more attainable because you have a finite number that you're shooting for to be considered a success in that business?
Yeah, like what I do with my new consultants and how I get them going is I start them off with, your first goal is to switch over your gas and electric if you can be your own first customer, like if you're in one of the service areas. Right now we're in 15 states in the District of Columbia. So if you're in a state where you can be, your own customer, be your own customer. And then, by getting just a handful of more customers, you can make $250 just right there. And then it goes all the way up to about $450, is what you can get in immediate bonuses for referring customers. So by that point, you're pretty much on track to get your free energy. And in Pennsylvania, the free energy is an energy credit. It's tax-free. So they send you that every single month, and that pretty much pays for your back office, which is $26 a month. So that whole back office is paid for. Now you have a debt-free business. And so that's like the first milestone. Get your free energy. And when you're doing that, you're going to make about $500 in immediate bonuses, but you're also building up all the houses. And then, so the next thing is promote up, which you typically do in that same time frame, because as you're talking to that amount of people, you're going to get the customers and consultants that you need to promote up. So, it's neat to have the goals that you can map out and you can show them exactly how to get there. Instead of saying, okay, your goal is to get $1 million, go out and get it. We can say, hey, this is your goal. Stay focused. You only have to get yourself first, and then let's go to 15 customers, and then, get you a team, and we'll move you up. And it's very spelled out and very, very easy, very attainable.
So it sounds to me like some of the top earners in your company. It's been a while since I actually looked at any list. I think some of the DSA or some of those magazines have some top earner lists, but for any company to have somebody who makes $750,000 a month, that's what you said, right?
Yeah, he's number 4 overall, I think. Brian McClure. Yep.
What do they do, or did they do anything different than the top earners in some of the other companies? No,
a lot of it with the network marketers, and we have, I think, I forgot how many we have in the top 50. It's amazing, but Brian McClure makes $750,000 a month, and he came over from Excel Communications, which was a deregulation of the telecom. Yeah. And that's actually where our chief marketing officer, Chris Chambliss, came from. So Chris took Excel to $1 billion, I think, in 9 years, and he came over and we went $1 billion in 7 years, faster than Google and all the other places. So it's pretty amazing, the growth, and they're still growing. We're right now number 12 on the direct selling agency. Wow. On the direct selling news. And so that's, you're behind Amway and Avon and Mary Kay, businesses that have been in business for like 50, 60, 80 years, and we've been in business 9 years, and we're number 12. So, we're growing, and it's growing, really fast, and it's just an awesome opportunity. And, the fact that you don't have to carry around products and do everything else like that makes it, that much more appealing to people, because some people say, you know what, I'm not really good at selling. Say, great. We just tell, we don't sell. We go out and we tell people that, they can save on the gas and electric. And if they want to do it, then, we get them set up, and then they go from there. That's
the pitch is, hey, you want to save some money. That's the pitch, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's really that simple. Like, I have a 5-minute video that I show people. It's actually 5minutevideo.com. I don't know how I got it registered.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So the 5minutevideo.com explains to them exactly how they can go out there and look at your bill. So it takes them from 3 different perspectives. The first one is as a customer, and it has a couple interviews. We've been on the news everywhere, and people are just like, wow, this is, this business is for real. And so it shows them, and it has testimonials of people that, hey, I saved $60 a month. I switched, I thought I was going to, I was afraid at first because I thought the power company would turn me off, but, I found out that I still keep the same provider, and if the pole goes down, that that company comes out and fixes it, not Ambit. Ambit's just the supplier. And then the second part is it talks about the business opportunity, and then it goes on and explains how you can make money on that and create a business. And the third part is kind of integrated in between saving and making money and in that aspect of it. So.
Mm-hmm. Are you folks in your independent businesses? How much liberty do you have in how you can market your business? I mean, in the sense that if a person was a distributor for a line of electronics, for example, or car dealership, of course, would be a higher level type of business. But I would think that if somebody who was really creative, there might be some different ways you can advertise your business. Is the company real careful about that, or how much latitude do you have?
Yeah, I mean, there are some guidelines. I mean, they actually give you radio ads and stuff that you can submit, and just put your little clip on the end to kind of identify yourself and how they can contact you. But for the most part, they have if you're going to the media and you're going to be, on a TV program, things like that, they do have guidelines and approval type of things that you would go back through and get a hold of corporate, and they would kind of, oversee it there. But again, for the most part, the most that I really reach out is like, a lot of people, they'll go through their warm market and they'll do it all wrong. So they kind of burn their warm market. So hopefully if I get them early enough, I can show them how to do it the right way where they don't kind of burn through that. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of what I'm working on. I just had another consultant come in the other day. And he's just like the ideal consultant. He's like, I'm just going to do what you tell me, with this, what you say you want me to do, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to say more than I have to. I'm just going to show the presentation, ask him if it makes sense, and get a 3-way call going. And I was like, that's perfect. That's all you have to do. So, I think as people, learn how to do the business the right way, then you don't really have to do a lot of the other stuff because you're going to build a sustainable enough business. And again, if you use the doorway principle where, every new person you get in the business or every new contact you make opens up their list of people, and then that opens up their list. So, you really never run out of people to talk to.
The electronic glitch there. His puppy must have stepped on a button on his laptop, but I'm sure he'll be back. So we'll just wait. There we go.
Gotta love it, man. Cats playing on the table. They just knocked my mouse sideways.
That's what I thought. Your kitten stepped on your keyboard.
Oh boy, good stuff. But yeah. So like I said, if you're doing it the right way and you're going out there, you really don't have to do a lot of creative advertising, because a lot of times, as people get into the business because of you and that your credibility and they're believing what you say. Now, I have gone out to the cold market and I've put out like Craigslist ads and different things, and that's actually how I got one of my most recent consultants, was through a Craigslist ad. And the funny thing is I put the Craigslist ad out for my general area here where I live in Pittsburgh. And the guy that came in and got into my business is on the same floor as my sponsor. Like he works, on the other side of town. Yeah. Wow. So it's not only was it in his company, but it was on the same floor on the other side of the building. So I was like, hey, do you know so-and-so? He said he works at your company. And he goes, let me look him up. He's like, he says it sits right over here. Let me go. And so he went over. So he actually met him before I met him, in person.
Yeah.
So it was pretty neat. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, I do that kind of thing because, and you've heard this before, and I'm sure everybody else over here has heard it, is you can't say the wrong thing to the right person.
Absolutely.
Right,
yeah.
to the wrong person. So, if your ad or your exposure just kind of puts it out there and it's enticing and people see that opportunity, then they're going to come in. And the best thing about that is, with those Facebook ads, with the Craigslist ads, you have people that are like qualified candidates when they come to you. Now, your warm market, a lot of times you're talking to friends and family that may not be interested. But if I put an ad out there, the people that I'm getting back and replying to that are people are like, okay, I'm ready, and their only holdup is probably going to be, I don't have the money, or maybe they just, thought it was something different. So, it's definitely something that can help you to grow your business, if you do it the right way.
Well, on Craigslist, is your ad or is your approach on Craigslist opportunity or product?
No, it's opportunity. Yeah, it's my ad starts with, are you paid with what you're worth? So, and people jump in and say, okay, yeah, I don't feel like I'm paid what I'm worth. So, the biggest, because there's not really demographics in network marketing because it's everybody, basically 18 to, 80 plus I've seen. And so the one thing that everybody has in common is dissatisfaction. That's what I found out is like most people that come into the opportunity are dissatisfied at some level. It doesn't have to mean that they're just horribly upset and they're just totally, I mean, they're like, I'm worth more. I want more time with my family. I want to get my kids in a private school. I want to pay off my debt. Like they're dissatisfied with something in their life, and that leads them to the opportunity. And that's what you really have to do. You have to go out fishing for people where they kind of hang out, not jamming it down their throat with everybody you see and know and love and trust already.
Do you find the opportunity easier to sell now than you did in previous years? And if so, is that because of your level of experience, or is it because of the timing, the times that we live in, economically? or is it because of the company, or both?
I think actually, I guess it depends on a little bit of everything, because what I see is with the technology aspect of it, it's definitely a lot easier. Before you were doing the napkin presentations and you would draw the little circle and the smiley face and the ad and the TV and all the other stuff. And now it's gotten to the point where the videos, you could be anywhere. You could have, I mean, I literally have people on the other side of the country that are looking at my opportunity video, and then I'm calling them back and I'm getting in the business, and people I've never even met face to face. And you couldn't do that before. You'd either have to send them a DVD, or like I said, the further and further back you go, you're getting into VHS tapes, or you're getting into, trying to explain it over the phone. So I think it's a lot easier now. But I do see companies, either doing it wrong or not doing it at all, because there are companies out there that don't have websites that have their opportunity on it, that, the consultants are pretty much forced to go out there and make something their own, like a YouTube video or something to kind of explain it. And that's hard, because it's not really duplicatable, because not everybody can do that. Well,
it's been umpteen years, a number of years since I've been back in the U.S. But and I was never a really good recruiter. I sold a moderate amount when I was with Primerica, and then before that I was with Prepaid Legal for a while, and sold some of those, but I was never a strong recruiter. But do you find, since you've been in the business for a while and you're obviously an adult, do you find that people are more receptive? They're more open-minded to an opportunity today? Because, I mean, I'm sort of a news junkie and conspiracy theorist and all that kind of stuff, and I see some really shameful things going on in the U.S. right now, that it's not the same ball game being the average guy today. And so I would imagine, though, that when people realize that, they're going to realize that network marketing, when it's done right, if it's with a good company, which most of them are, that it's not a bad deal. But do you find that it easier to sell opportunity today?
I think yes, but it still comes down to, and this is what I tell all my consultants is, don't offer the opportunity to somebody until you find out how it can be a solution to their situation. Because it's just like with anything, it's going to be too good to be true, or they're going to be skeptical, or they're going to have their doubts. I mean, we've all seen the things where we're like, there's no way that, there's something with that, there's got to be a catch. There's got to be something. So
I'll wait and it'll come to me. Right.
Yeah.
So I won't do anything now.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I think there are more people looking, but you still have to attract those people. You still have to bring them in. So kind of how I start off my conversations, and like I said, I've done this real quick with just somebody, that I met and only had a couple seconds. Like I'll be at a restaurant and I'm checking out or something, and I'll just say, wow, it's pretty busy here today or whatever. And it's like, yeah, it's like, so you do this full time? And they're like, yeah, but I'm going to school or whatever. It's like, well, what are you going to school for? And they're like, I'm going for this. Like, man, that's awesome. I love people that are chasing their dreams and everything like that. And I said, what would you, if you could, have a successful part-time business and it wouldn't interfere with what you're doing now, like how much money would you need to make? And they say, I don't know, $500 a month or something. And okay, cool. Well, what would you do with that money? Oh man, I would open up a shelter for, dogs, or I would do this and that. And so I kind of get their why or their passion. And then I say, you know what? Now's not the right time, because, you're here and your boss is here and everything, and we're about to take off and everything. But let me get your information, because I'd love to give you a call and I want to talk with you about something that, it may or may not be for you. But, if you could spend 5 minutes and look at something and tell me if it's something that you see as an opportunity to help you pay for that, cat sanctuary, or get your kids in private, whatever their why was. And then you just kind of boom and you're out the door. And so, you still have to be able to connect with them, and whenever they know that you care about what they're talking about, and I genuinely do. I love people that are out there looking to better themselves or pursue what they love to do, their passion. So I'll absolutely help everybody, and I'll show them the opportunity, and I tell them it may or may not be for you. I'm grown, you're grown, so you can tell me no, it's not going to hurt my feelings, but I don't want to waste your time, and I certainly don't want you, to waste my time. So, what do you think? Is this something that you have 5 minutes to look at, and then you kind of go from there? So,
Rob, what do you think about the advisability or the practicality of having more than one MLM company affiliation? Because there are some people who do it,
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes, it's frowned upon because people say, okay, well, if you're doing so well in this company, then why are you with this company? If you're doing so well over here, then why would you need to open another one? And I think that people that do multiple companies, can be successful. And I think sometimes they just fall into the other things. It's not necessarily that one is doing any worse than the other. I think sometimes it's just a way of people being able to supplement some of the things they do. They see this as an opportunity. Hey, I'm talking to these people, and they have an opportunity. But yeah, I mean, I see people being successful in both, but I see where the companies come from is from the, hey, if you're doing multiple companies, people will probably think that you're not doing well. Like, you just tried to sell me on this last week, and now you're trying to sell me on this. Is that other company not doing that well? Why should I get in with that company then?
Rob, you've met significant six-figure income earners that are actually in multiple network marketing companies?
No, not significant six-figure income earners. No. I'm just saying I know people that have done both, that have, Yeah.
Sorry to jump in. I got fascinated on the Craigslist stuff. I dropped a file, you guys. My old company is Ubly.com. I sold it 3 months ago. We sold software to the network marketing space, and we developed a PDF. You guys can have it. Take a look at it, Rob. It's got some scripts and outlines for maybe your Craigslist files. I just wanted to toss it out there. Take a look at it, scrap it, whatever you want to do. It's just a free gift that we used to give out to people. But there's some slick stuff in there. So,
yeah, sweet. Yeah, mine was pretty simple. It was basically it went through and it said, and I think I have it up here. I don't know. I had it with one of the people. Paid what you're worth. I said, create an income working in your spare time by helping people save on the bills they already pay, guaranteed savings, no contracts, blah, 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 blah. And then today I'm looking for motivated people to start earning an income while building a business. You can join a referral program, blah, 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 blah. So, and then I explained, we pay 4 different ways. And so.
Did you send them to like a Google number? Did you put out your cell phone? What did you do?
No, I just had them reply to the generated email address that went through there.
Gotcha.
Yep.
I think that the idea of, for example, I'm thinking of a company send out cards. I'm not in it, but I think it's a good service. And last week I talked to a lady who was in it for a long time, and she's in a health product now, and apparently she's doing pretty good in that. But I remember the first time that I ever heard about that idea of having multiple divisions of your company, so to speak, was a guy. I've never heard of him on Blab. His name is Tyson Zahner. I think it's Zahner. And he's one of those guys that does, I forget whether it was MLSP or Elite Marketing System Pro, or I think there's 3 of those. And that's where I learned the term funded proposal. But he makes a legitimate case for doing that. But I agree with you, Rob, that certainly your upline or your company certainly has a custodial interest in you. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
But yeah, that would be a great example of being able to supplement your business. If you're in there and, your business is, out there connecting with people, and you want to use send out cards as a way to connect with them and send out, thank yous or communications or whatever, then, you can do that or whatever.
Can you have you recruited anybody that is still somewhat active in another network marketing company? Because I can see where somebody could certainly see that they could be at a point where they could see limitations and, well, they can't sell any more of this type of product. But when they realize that what you have to offer the consumer is real tangible, and they'd be pretty open-minded to it.
I got you. So you mean somebody that's had a little bit of success and is getting residual income somewhere else? They stay in there to keep the money, and then they come over here. No, I don't have anybody like that on my team. I think, most of the people that are on my team are people that have done different things in the past, and they weren't successful, and they saw the opportunity here because it's a service and not a product. So a lot of people that I get onto my team are from failed product-based companies, and they see the opportunity, and not all of them are successful here. Sometimes it's just the approach or whatever, but they see this as, okay, well, I won't have all the same struggles as the ingredients and selling the stuff and buying, I don't have money up front to buy, $5,000 worth of products or whatever. So, I can just go in and just start referring people and making money with no inventory or anything. So
what does it cost to get into your company?
Actually, right now it's $0 enrollment. It's normally $429. When I got into it, it was $429, and there's a monthly back office fee for $26.60. It's $24.95 plus the tax, and that gets all your training, all your advertising, and your what you're paid next week and this week and all that kind of stuff. Keeps up with all your consultants. But right now it's open enrollment, so it's $0. You just pay your $26 for your website. And they're doing that, I think, through November 20th. So that, it's a great time for people coming into the business.
What's the company called, Rob?
Ambit Energy, AMBIT.
Oh, Ambit, yeah.
Yeah, so they're getting out into solar, and they just had our annual meeting was September 2nd through 5th, Labor Day down in Dallas, and they announced the open enrollment, and they said on a conference call or two after that, the reason why they're doing the open enrollment is that the announcements that are coming up in the future in January for our meeting is you're going to want to have a big team. So I'm not sure, what the next announcement is or whatever, but so that's kind of the reason behind it. So
what do you do if you talk to somebody that is not in a state that your company can deal with?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just tell them, hey, we have a guy that lives in Israel. He's a millionaire. I have people that are in Alaska. So there's people all over the place that they can't be their own customer, but it doesn't detract them or distract them from getting in. And so they're out there going, I know people in New York. I know people in Texas. I know people in California. So, I always tell people, just like people in other states, chances are they know people in other states. So, I never discourage anybody from talking to people in states that we don't service because, chances are they know somebody in one of the states that we're in. So,
and they could still sign up customers in other states, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, now that brings up something else from the depths of my mind that I hadn't thought about, because I remember in A.L. Williams and also in Primerica, we had to have a license. Do any of the states that you operate in require that you have some kind of license or certification?
Massachusetts, I think, is the only state that does, and there's like an online certification that we do. Other than that, I know when I was in another company and they did energy deregulation, they were up in Canada, and I think that if you lived in Canada, you had to get licensing, because if you're going and talking to people, you had to be like a licensed rep or whatever. So. But yeah, as of right now in the States, the only place that we are required to get that certification is Massachusetts.
Are all the states deregulated yet? Is that an ongoing process, or has that wave already passed?
No, they're still, a lot of them are still in the process of deregulating. Some may not ever deregulate. But I mean, there's a good bit of them still going. And there are some that have deregulated that we haven't gotten into yet because of the negotiations and the tariffs and things. And our company's real intentional, like as far as, one of their, statements is that they'll never sacrifice integrity for growth. So they're not out there trying to just gobble up everything and then they have all these issues and have to back out and just kind of looks negatively upon us. So, so it's there's no certification or anything like that needed. We are, as a company, licensed in all the states that we go into. So as far as that aspect of it, the companies, with all the utility companies, utility commissions, they're licensed in all the states that we're in. So
does Ambit, in your opinion, based on your experience, does Ambit have any not necessarily serious competitors in the industry? Isn't there's another company, I believe, that actually started out in telephones that recently got into energy, didn't they?
I think, are you talking about ACN? I know ACN was doing something, and I think they actually had some controversy with their internet or with their energy provider. It was like Zoom or something or whatever. But I think the closest one to us would be Stream Ignite.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, they're just a few. I think they're like, I don't know if they're 15th or 14th or somewhere down there, but yeah, I mean it's. But I think they're like 750,000 and we're like, 1.5 billion. So it's almost like double the size. So,
and you haven't even, it's probably true that there's a lot of headroom still left in your market, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we have overall 3% market share. So I mean, the potential's out there. Like, you know, in Pennsylvania, it's I think 1%. Like 99% of people haven't even heard of Ambit up here, and so yeah, it's over. You know, I mean, the market is just ridiculous. A $500 billion and growing market out there. So,
how much does your company use social media to grow their business? Are they putting a lot of attention on that?
You mean the company or the people within the company, or
well, the people within the company, and to what degree does the company encourage that? Because my opinion, I'm sort of a tech junkie, and I see a lot of MLM companies talking about how high tech they are, but they ain't. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't think it's they're that engaged on social media. You know, I think a lot of this stuff is just like internal communications and keeping the consultants up. But I mean, there are other communications, like, you know, they'll do billboards and different things in different states, different areas. As we launch, they'll do, you know, different types of promotions just to kind of get the word out. JD Powers, I mean, they get out that way a little bit. I mean, it's not really social media, but, you know, they post, you know, news releases, press releases for that kind of thing. A lot of the stuff is just, you know, the recognition comes, you know, in 2010, we were the fastest growing company, Inc. 500 privately held company, with like 20,000% growth. So, you know, other companies, you know, other publications are, you know, there's accolades and things out there that they're putting on us, but nothing really that we're really pushing out there other than, you know, like the press releases or that kind of stuff. So I'm not really familiar with that much of the social media that goes on. I know they have like a little Facebook, but it's more geared towards just being to the consultants kind of.
Do they preach very much, or do they give the representatives much training in building sales funnels and establishing a presence on the internet and a brand identity?
No, not really. I mean, honestly, you know, they have a lot of training and stuff just geared towards, you know, building a duplicatable business, because they, you know, the bottom line is, you know, you can have a few people that are good in social media and you know, but they don't want their focus to be on social media. They want to just be out there belly to belly talking with people, building their business. And also, you know, as the businesses grow, you know, you want to make sure that it's duplicatable. So if people don't know how to use technical type, you know, social media, different types of devices, then it's not going to really be duplicatable. And some people might get intimidated saying, well, I don't want to post on Facebook, so I don't want to do this. If I have to post and bother all my friends on, you know, Facebook and Twitter and all this, then I'm not going to do it, because I don't want to, you know, lose a bunch of friends over that.
That makes sense. Yeah. Hey, John, how are you, sir?
Pretty good. How are you?
What's up, buddy?
What's up?
Do you guys know each other?
We do.
Yeah. Do you really?
Yeah, it was interesting because I know I've been down that road. I was actually in stream before. So if anything, I would say people need to switch. I mean, I don't know why. I still don't know why people don't do it. That was always a struggle when I was in it, is people just didn't understand it or switched. Even though I'm not in it anymore, I'm still with stream. And every month I get my electric bill. I just can't believe how much money I save. And I know there's still a lot of people who don't switch and are scared to, or just don't get it. I don't get it still.
Well, and that's the other thing too, is in Pennsylvania, they almost pushed something through where they were going to require people to choose a third party. But it came down to, when they were making the laws, that like people are just going to get lumped into this, basically this pool where they could bid on you and buy you. So like as a customer, you could be with ABC company, and for whatever reason, you didn't get the mailers, you didn't respond or whatever. And so they're like, okay, well, as of this date, you have to choose a provider. If not, you're going to get thrown in this big pool, and companies can just come up and bid on your accounts and buy you. And then you would have to go there. So I think it's coming soon here, at least in Pennsylvania. And, you know, they're going to be able to, they're going to be forced to provide or to choose a provider. And so what we tell people is, you know, that's fine. And if you're not comfortable switching now, just know that you're going to have to choose soon And, you know, when you do, if you keep us in mind, we'll definitely, you know, help you out. But yeah, you know, and like John will tell you, people just, for whatever reason, are just skeptical, or they think, you know, something's going to happen.
When I was doing it, I mean, Pennsylvania advertised it and pushed it and tried to get people to realize it. Like, they were not against it. And I always thought that was good. I'm in New Jersey. New Jersey was totally different. And I always thought, why didn't New Jersey advertise it like Pennsylvania did? I think they had a website. It was like PA Power Switch or something. And they educated all the customers and all the different companies and everything. They tried to push it to people, but it's still, I think the percentage was still so small from what people actually switched.
Well, yeah, I think the biggest problem, the challenge up here that people have is that they get door knocked and telemarketed and radio advertisements and everything else. So they just think like it's shady.
Everything's a scam.
Yeah. And so again, it's the people that get out there and, you know, do these kind of practices and get people kind of on edge and thinking like, oh, you know, this is shady, that hurts everybody else that's out there, you know, actually trying to save people money, you know?
Yeah. Rob, you said something about coaching. Do you actually have a coaching facet of your business, something that you do with purpose, or?
Yeah, I actually do. I, you know, it's transitioning from in the classroom. I did a lot of the stuff where we did events and stuff like in person, and it's transitioned over. I have, you know, clients now that I do on the phone and on Skype. And I'm actually looking into, Zoom, setting up Zoom on there and doing some courses. I have a course that I'm developing to kind of help people to grow their business from defining who they are to setting goals, taking action, setting up like a freemium type of offer, getting people on their mailing list, and then engaging them and communicating with them. So I think that's helpful to people that you know, have some prospects and try to get them. It's kind of almost like a little funnel type of program, but not necessarily a funnel. But yeah, so coaching and training.
Well, is that something that is the connection there between that and your Ambit business just sort of loose, or is that something that is like another profit center, or potentially could be?
Yeah, it's totally separate. Yeah, it's just something that, as you know, as a network marketer myself, I struggled in the beginning when it was like, okay, go out there and do it kind of thing. And so what I want to do is, you know, I have a brand. It's called Focus Your Ambition. And if you go out to focusyourambition.com, it redirects to my Facebook group. And it's just a little community where, you know, I share some quotes and just that kind of thing and just kind of motivate. But the Focus Your Ambition part is, you know, when I started in network marketing and with other business ventures, I was really excited, and I would just kind of have all these things that I would do. So I would go out and I would do, you know, I need a web page. I need this. I need, you know, to get this going, I have to get business cards and all these different things. And then what happens is you're not making money with any of that stuff. So after a few, you know, weeks, months or whatever, you get discouraged, and a lot of network marketers just quit. Like, oh, there's no money in this. Well, they really haven't prospected. They really haven't gone out and talked to people, you know, shown the plan, you know, done anything that's like money making, but yet they're willing to quit. So I help people to focus that ambition, that excitement they have. And we all remember how it was when we first got in, how excited we were. You know, if you could take that amount of energy and excitement and put it into like funneled, focused, you know, energy, then you'll be successful. And that's kind of what, you know, I help people do on that aspect of it, is to take that into profitable stuff.
Yeah, I'll try to keep this to under an hour,
Sure.
but let me ask you, do you what has been your experience, your enjoyment out of Blab? How do you feel about Blabs?
I love it. I mean, I love it because it helps, you know, to create, you know, quickly relationships and, you know, from, you know, people can see you on Facebook or on Twitter or even on a YouTube video or on Periscope. But when you get in Blab and you can interact with people and you can share it, and it just helps to like build your brand so much, you know, so fast, you know, so quickly you can connect with people. And I tell people it's like there's a filter in place, because people in Blab are pretty much open and they're out there. So you can quickly find out who you resonate with, who you don't, you know, and you know, you can connect and build pretty quick relationships, and you can go pretty deep. You know, I know what John and Tracy and some of us were in a room last night, and we're having fun, and we're just, you know, throwing up memes and everything and doing stuff. And, you know, we didn't know each other a few months ago, but it's just, you get together and you connect quickly, because I think people on Blab are, they're like an open book. You can, you know, there's not much fake stuff going on Blab for the most part.
You can't really hide behind that post and, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, you can't be like, you know, eating a big pizza where you're typing all your health quotes and everything else. I mean, people see exactly what you do. Yeah, you know, so. Yeah.
Well, if somebody wants to follow up with you about anything you said, how can they do that?
Yeah, if you go out to focusyourambition.com, again, that redirects to the Facebook group. You can just send a request to be added to that group. You can also go out to 5minutevideo.com. It's the number 5minutevideo.com. And all my information's on that website. You can watch a little short 5-minute video. It kind of explains what I do, and then you can contact me that way.
Okay. All right. Well, folks, there you have it. You got some wisdom from the mouth of the master. And remember the show here, too. If you guys, anybody that might see this in the future, knows anybody who has a message of value, of interest, anybody in the network marketing, direct sales, MLM business, shoot me a notice, and I'd love to have them on the show. Want to thank Rob again, and John, thank you for coming in, and all the other people that were here. And with that, I guess all I can say is adios.
All right. Thanks, Art. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, guys. Thanks.